reality states that we don't need to let people decide for themselves what they are not going to do. We can decide for them. That's what government is about. So if we decide, for instance, that the 3% charge on every purchase that you make with a credit card or a debit card is too much, we can reduce that to 1% or less. It is our choice. So we have, there is a use for government, and that government, is a best provided with limited capitalism, because the end result of it is that we have the opportunity as a society to make rules for ourselves, and that would include that pharmaceuticals and the medicines that we need and the tools for medicine and things like that can be resolved as well with the same thing. Capitalism is not a grant for steal as much as you can. Capitalism simply means that we all have a chance to provide for ourselves, and we all have a chance to share in the wealth, and we all have a chance to use the best of our abilities and make a decision for work or life or family or whatever it is you decide. But the end result of capitalism is that we cannot allow the greedy to take control of our lives. We can't let the banks create the fraud of 24% interest or any of the rest of the stuff. We have the option, we have the ability, we have the legal authority in redress of grievances, a constitutional First Amendment right, a legal right to make a decision for ourselves, for our nation, to decide what we, the people, shall allow or not allow. And those things are essential to peace and harmony, and the fact that we won't let just a few people rule over us, as is the constant of today. A few people rule over us. A few people rule over us. They are the expert. They are, God in their own mind. They judge us and create for us the maze of failure that is the hallmark of university knows. The cult of greed that is everywhere. The cult of stealing that is everywhere. The cult of traps. The cult of power owns everything. Pride, controls everything, and propaganda, tells you what to believe or fear or obey, as is COVID proved completely, without question, a failure of society itself. So we need to accept the idea that we have a choice. We have a choice. We have a choice not to be ruled by other people. We are a democracy, so that makes it, the first step is already done. It's a democracy. We, the people, have the right to create our own law for our own selves, for our own future, for our own nation, by making the law that will then be our government, as is the Constitution is the government. It is not an employee, it is not a ruler, it's not Congress, it's not a president, it's not the media, it's not the university. Our government is the law that runs or controls our government, that sets the barriers and the boundaries and the limits of what people can or cannot do when they are in charge of government for our purpose, which is to provide for ourselves a better society. So we have to recreate the government of the United States. Not so much by changing the Constitution more than it needs to be changed, but by making our employees realize that we are not just a game to be played with, that we have rights of our own, that their claim of independence, that they can have as much money or as much power or as much pride or as much property whatever it is, we can say no. Literally no. And set for them the limits and the boundaries of what capitalism will be. We can prove to them what the limits and the boundaries of a democracy allows for our employees to do. We can set the actual concrete limit of what you cannot go beyond this point for any purpose of war, any purpose of police action, or any other thing, because we have the right to make the law that does say what can and cannot be done. Or in other words, we can enforce the fact that we will defend the nation, but we will not allow our soldiers and our people to be mercenaries for the purpose of a ruler. We're not the slaves of a ruler, as is the constant of today. You can't just go off to Iraq, for instance, because the president says so. That's, and you can't provide for Israel, for instance, in their demand to destroy the Arab nations around them and take what they want, which is, they've been fighting for thousands of years. And it's time that that reality should occur, and that reality is separate them out, enforced by world law, international policing. If you want to hate these people, come forward. If you are a hater, come forward, and let both sides come forward, and we'll create in the boundaries here, this is where you war. No, you can't have missiles and tanks and what have you. You can have swords and spears or whatever, and you can fight it out among yourselves there, but you can't take what we own for yourselves. You can't destroy our lives by destroying whatever it is you think you want to hate. So anyway, there will be people who want to make me the target, if there's any value to you at all. And so we'll have to go through that a little bit. And that is a case of I'm married 2 years and divorced. The bigger items are, I actually spent 3 weeks in a psychiatric hospital unit, but just sleeping there, because they found me to be of interest. I wasn't like they expected, so they didn't release me immediately. But the end result was that I was searching for a spiritual world, and when it arrived, I made an error. But that error allowed me to know how to go back and be participant in the spiritual world, which I was. So and then comes tinnitus, which is a terrible thing. Squeal in your ears. You want to know what mine is? There's a lot of variety in tinnitus. But mine was, you can take the squeal of a smoke detector at about 3/4 volume, glue that to both ears, and let it run for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we'll talk about what tinnitus is or is not. But I recommend you don't do that, because it will destroy your hearing, and you won't be able to turn it off. So that and physical issues arrived to limit me and make just studies basically my life for the next 20 or 30 years. And then of course there's the issue of, you might find that my dad decided that I was just kidding, that I was just lying, that I was just stealing or whatever, because he didn't understand tinnitus and wouldn't accept tinnitus, and it was he is part of the problem, and so on. So anyway, and of course, he blamed me for him not finding more friends. when his best friend and his brother died. He wanted replacements, and tinnitus made it impossible for me to do that. And he blamed me for him not finding replacements in the little town that he goes to. So he believed the gossip and the ridicule, which always occurs with anyone who is a little bit different. Doesn't matter how much you're a little bit different. Doesn't matter whether it's black or white or whatever. All you have to do is be a little different so they can pick on you. And of course they did. But that's, it doesn't affect me, but it affected him. So what more do I have to say? I don't know. I'm not here to lead you. Well, actually, I am. I decided that, you can't read, you can't think, you're believers in a cult that is killing you. You won't listen to reality. You won't listen to truth. You won't listen to evidence. You won't listen to anything. So now we're down to the final stage, which is to lead you to law by creating an image, because an image is the only thing you see. So I have an image for you to see, which is right here, right now, and you have to decide whether or not there's any value in the words, if you can hear them, because the cult is going to take them away as soon as possible, or block them first if they can, which they have been doing very successfully. You have to congratulate them. They're very effective. Their policing of everything that you might want to know, might want to think, might want to do is constant. And of course, then they claim that there is false fake news, they call it. And of course, couple of the videos that I created were deemed to be medical misinformation because I said I don't trust them. So they removed them and threatened to throw all the videos away. They probably will, but that's up to you. So we'll just see about that. At any rate, I am creating an image not to lead you like a ruler does, but to lead you to law so that you can decide for yourself what is or is not your purpose for this nation, for this world, for life, for you, for eternity, for whatever it is that you think you can decide. And of course, eternity is decided by you because it is determined by truth. And what your truth is defines what your eternity will be. So if you have love, you can find eternity in love. It's a direction, and the opposite direction of love is hate. So if you have hate, you will go in that direction. And if you can't decide for either, you will be lost in the middle and vanish, because you can't stay in the middle. It won't work. So you have to pick and choose what it is that your eternity will be. I have picked and choose what my eternity will be. And in actual fact, in the spiritual world, which is the entry into truth itself, the laws and the realities of truth. That's what the spirit world means. And when you die, you're going to go into the laws of what is or is not true. So you will enter that. But I got to enter it a little bit first. And the reality of that is that I needed to be balanced. A female spirit joined me, or I joined it, or something like that. And the end result of that was that male and female together is what created the possibility of a new world for you, because world law is all we need, is what we need to survive, or extinction will take over our lives. Because you have all the evidence needed to prove that extinction is coming. But that's just the facts of the evidence. It's not my decision, or it's not my claim. It's the evidence that says that you're going to be extinct. So you have to decide if you want to be extinct or not, or if you want to go ahead and learn what it is that truth requires of you, in order to keep this world alive, we cannot keep this world alive by what you do. Even you should understand that. But of course, as believers and as cult worshippers of the university as God, you don't know anything. You don't know anything. You are believers. And of course, the religion of the university is evolution, and evolution is a lie. So, you know, so I give you an image. What you do with it is your choice, but I'm not your choice. I'm just an image talking to you, so that hopefully you will have some degree of understanding about what life is. Your choices are.